hello, and welcome to What Culture Horror with myself, Andrew Pollard. I hope you're good, I hope you're well, and I hope that your week is going as well as possible. My week, well, a large part of that has been spent watching the first 4 episodes of Wednesday Season 2, and that's what we're here to take a look at here today. So, with Part 1 of Season 2 now on Netflix, Part 2 to follow in September, let's get into it and see whether it's a welcome return for young Miss Addams. Right, so as mentioned, part 1 of season 2 is now on Netflix, meaning the first 4 episodes of the new season, all running around about an hour each. And man, it's absolutely crazy to think it's nearly 3 years since Wednesday's debut season landed all the way back in November 2022. But here we are, finally, with that second season upon us, and a couple of episodes directed by Tim Burton again, on the heels of him directing half of season 1. Star Jenna Ortega, who's also an executive producer now, previously promised a smidge more horror for season 2 when compared to its predecessor. So let's see whether that delivers. I mean, in terms of where things kick off, it's a new school semester at Nevermore Academy, the private school for those delightfully dark, magical, and monstrous students. Of course, season 1 wrapped up a Wednesday, saving the day for Nevermore, ultimately thwarting the resurrection of Jericho's founding father, Joseph Crackstone, and a plan to wipe out all of Nevermore's outcasts. And also, Tyler was revealed as the Hyde who'd been behind so many of that season's murders, controlled by Christina Ricci's Marilyn Thornhill. Well, Laurel Gates, whatever you want to call it. And so with a new semester here as we start season 2, Wednesday Addams returns to Nevermore as a hero. Yes, much to Wednesday's chagrin, she's now essentially a celebrity at Nevermore, complete with her own fan club, people flocking to grab an autograph from her, hanging on her every word, propping her up on a pedestal as the savior of Nevermore. And obviously, Wednesday hates all of that. After all, this is the stone-faced, dark-hearted, people-hating, murder-loving Wednesday Addams, after all. In fact, at one point, it's mentioned to Wednesday about her maybe having FOMO, as in fear of missing out on something. When she responds, she's got phobia, fear of being included. Such is her disdain for people, I guess is the easiest way to say it. So that's where we start things. Wednesday returning as the school-saving hero, regardless of whether she wants that attention or not. And with a new season comes a new principal at Nevermore, the energetic and flamboyant Principal Dort, as played by the ever-great Steve Buscemi. We're also a big fan of Wednesdays, of course, champion her at every opportunity. Now, he is a very energetic character, as I said then. It's like, can we really trust this guy? Is he just really this super fan who's really eager and loves his job, or is there a little bit more going on there? I guess that's what we've been conditioned to think about, I guess, with such series. But as well as a new principal, there's a new murder mystery at play at Nevermore. Well, there's a few mysteries. There's a new batch of murders, and Wednesday also has a stalker, with those topics taking up a lot of screen time in these first 4 episodes. It also doesn't help that Wednesday's psychic powers, they're on the fritz too, so that's hindering her in trying to solve these mysteries. As well as Nevermore getting plenty of time in the sun here, and one other location that gets a whole lot of time, especially as the episodes progress, is Willow Hill Psychiatric Hospital, as run by Thanduri Newton's Rachel Fairburn, a self-professed expert on all things outcasts. And that's where Tyler, as in the Hyde, finds himself locked up these days. One main difference here in season 2 is that it's far more of an Addams ensemble effort than season 1 was. I mean, on the Addams front, season 1 was very much the Wednesday Addams show. I mean, it literally is in the title, I guess. That's a very silly comment. But this time, the rest of the family is spotlighted almost as much as Wednesday. Not quite as much, but there is a lot more time for the rest of the family. I mean, as part of that, Wednesday's younger brother, Pugsley, is now also attending Nevermore, and his new pet, I don't really want to say too much, but his new pet could well be my favourite character of season 2 so far. Then there's Morticia Addams, who's helping Nevermore in its fundraising efforts, so she's there on campus. And then where Morticia is, of course, that also means her husband Gomez is around on campus as well with her. Thing, once again, is never far from Wednesday's side. And there's also a fair bit more screen time for Lurch. And on the Lurch front as well, this time it's Jonas Suotomo replacing the previous season's George Busia in that role. Jonas is best known for playing Chewbacca. I don't know why I'm doing that. In the more recent Star Wars movies, and also just a really, really lovely dude. I got to had the pleasure of hosting a Comic-Con panel that he was on a few years ago, and he was just like the nicest guy. So it's cool to see him pop up. And Lurch, again, gets a little bit more screen time than in season 1. So yes, the full Addams crew get our attention this time out. Although Wednesday is still the main attraction, the main focus. Not to mention that there is the presence of a another few Addams family members. That's kind of been the presence of those family members are being felt, including an ominous silence on Wednesday's Aunt Ophelia, which would be Morticia's sister. Speaking of Morticia, a key part of season 2, at least so far, is the constant butting of heads between Morticia and Wednesday, the classic teenager and mother dynamic, the teenager and parent dynamic. Just with those, instead of this just being a normal teenager and a mother, you've got those ever sinister, darker instincts that come with the Addams family crew, and those instincts do come to the fore as the episodes go on. Now, I mentioned earlier Thanduri Newton and Steve Buscemi as new additions, and Eunice Suotomu, and there's also a whole bunch of other fun new faces for this second season, including Doctor Who's Billie Piper as Nevermore's new music teacher, and she is clearly having a blast. There's Scream and Hostel 2 favourite Heather Matarazzo as Judy, who's the eager assistant to Newton's Dr. Fairburn. There's Anthony Michael Hall as a macho scoutmaster we encounter, and just, hey man, whenever I see him, I just always think of that little dance scene in The Breakfast Club they have. Great film, amazing film. Anyway, you've also got Haley Joel Osment, fresh off Happy Gilmore 2, which is also now on Netflix. And that I had a lot of fun with, though I am totally the target audience for that film, being a big Happy nerd. But Haley Joel Osment plays the ominous Kansas City scalper, a legendary serial killer who we see here pop up at early doors. And there's Christopher Lloyd, who played Uncle Fester in the two 90s Addams Family movies. He is Professor Orloff, Nevermore's oldest teacher, with a look that, for me, reminds me a little bit of Futurama. If you know, you know. And also kind of a little bit of a what if Christopher Lloyd played Batman villain Dr. Freeze at some point. Yeah, that's one of those great what ifs for me. Joanna Lumley is also here in a great role that I don't know if I should say too much about, so I will not. As 4 greats, each of the 4 episodes, they range from good to great, with the 4th episode being my own particular favourite, and with Fred Armisen back as Fester and just devouring scenery whenever he is on screen. And speaking of stealing scenes, Evie Templeton, who's also starring in next year's Return to Silent Hill, actually, is fantastic as Agnes, a Nevermore student who's obsessed with Wednesday, basically her #1 fan, and is desperate to become pals with Wednesday. Templeton is she's fantastic here, a genuine highlight of season 2 so far, bringing a quirky, kooky, no pun intended with the Addams, quirky, kooky energy to Agnes. And that character also adds a slight change in the dynamic to Wednesday's relationship with a werewolf roommate, Enid, with Emma Myers back and in great form as Enid as well. Also great in his more spotlighted role, I have to say, is the returning Isaac Ordonez as Pugsley Addams, now at Nevermore, now with his own developing powers, somewhat following in Fester's footsteps, and again with a new pet that is another personal favourite of mine from this season 2 return. Also, I want to give a special shout as well to Victor Dorobantu, back again as Thing, Wednesday's handy pal, always there to help save the day. And yeah, man, it's just, I was going to kick out a Thing, which is kind of weird to say that when the kick would be foot and Thing is a hand, but hey, so yeah, props to Victor. Likewise, want to give some praise to music supervisors Jen Malone and Nicole Weisberg, who have some phenomenal selections here, be that the actual score work or just the use of reworked versions of certain classics, all perfectly fit in the moments they're soundtracking and helping get certain points across and certain emotions across. Absolutely phenomenal job there. Now, as a whole, season 2 part 1 very much follows nicely with what made season 1 so popular, just with a few more classic horror elements thrown in. I mean, like I said, Jenna Ortega did promise there would be more horror. It would lean more into darker horror here. And there is. I mean, we've got invisible people. We've got avians, which are figures who have bird-like abilities and control the birds. There's a character who can control bees. There's zombies. And there's just a fantastic, eclectic mix of characters, be they returning ones or those fresh new faces that I've mentioned. It is, much to Jenna Ortega's promise, the first half of season 2 takes season 1 and just makes it darker, makes it more twisted with some of its characters, not just its characters, but some of the visuals as well. Of course, I mean, we do have those certain mysteries unravel, some yet, that are still to fully unravel, and it does just a brilliant job of setting the store for what should be a great second half to season 2. Whether that second half of season 2 sticks the landing, I mean, that remains to be seen, but I mean, given how great a job showrunners Alfred Goff and Miles Miller and their crew and cast have done on season 1 and season 2 part 1 so far, I mean, you've got to think hope is extremely high for something special from the second half of this season, which again arrives on Netflix in September the 3rd, I believe, actually, if memory serves correctly. Full of fantastic performances here. We've got properly striking visuals, some great special effects work, plenty of gothic charm, and so many genuinely engaging, gripping plot points. These 4 episodes so far, they're just a total blast, man. Yes, of course, we get somewhat of a cliffhanger too by the time episode 4 comes around. And there are, like I mentioned there's plenty of other strands to be resolved as well as we crack on with Wednesday's second half, season 2 second half next month. I feel like actually I've not said too much about the main attraction itself yet, but it kind of goes without saying that yes, Jenna Ortega continues to be the perfect Wednesday Addams, brooding, macabre, wicked, dry one-liners and put-downs, the unwilling, reluctant hero, the deadpan delivery, the stoic facial expressions and the body language. Yeah, Jenna Ortega and those writing the character just get it. That is the best way I can put it. Now, if you're looking for a classic rating for season 2, part 1, to kind of collect the 4 episodes together as a whole, I would go with a solid 8 out of 10, a 4 out of 5 for me. With episode 4, that is getting a full 10 out of 10 for my taste. Just capturing everything that for me makes this series so great. Everything that I'd want to see from whether it's a Wednesday series or an Addams Family series. That 4th episode just captures, for me, for my personal taste, what I want to see from a show like this. My only complaint: can September the 3rd get here already? Yeah, that's my only complaint, my only qualm. And it's a very, very minor one. I've got to wait 4 weeks. So, hey, that'll be here before you know it. But yes, Wednesday, season 2, part 1. The 4 episodes are on Netflix now. And for me, I reckon I might actually give them another rewatch as early as this afternoon. So much fun did I have with it. Yep. Now, if you've already checked out these episodes for yourself, let us know in the comments what you thought. Maybe I'm just getting too giddy about it all. And if you are planning to check these episodes out, let us know what you're most looking forward to. And with that, this has been What Culture Horror. I've been Andrew Pollard. Be well, stay safe, and I will catch you down the road.